Welcome, replay viewers. Today is day 9 of my 21-day Periscope challenge to myself, and it is Friday, so that means it's Q&A day. Hey Danielle, welcome. Hey Sarah, hey Kimberly. Hi friends. Hi Jessica, hi Wendy. Welcome, I'm glad you're here today. I love Friday Q&A, it's kind of fun. So, hi Mandy. If you are new, I don't think anyone's new here yet. Hi Patrice. I am Melissa from MakerySpace.com, where I educate and equip Etsy sellers with the more left-brained aspects of running their business. Hi Helen. And on Fridays, it's just kind of a looser Q&A format. So you can ask me anything Etsy related or business related, or I mean whatever you want. So far, everybody I see here, I trust to not ask anything inappropriate. So, and if it's inappropriate, I just won't answer it. Happy Friday, yes. Sometimes, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I feel as a business owner that the weekend, well, except for Sunday, I do take Sunday off, but Saturday doesn't feel much different than other days. But it is kind of nice because my husband's home. I feel like I'm freezing a little bit on the screen. My mouth looks like it's moving slowly. Is anybody else having trouble with the connection? I always turn off the Wi-Fi on all my devices in the house, and it's a weekend. But sometimes it seems like it still has issues, so I don't even know if there's any way to get around that. It's probably just the speed of our internet, I'm guessing. So, and does anybody bring a question today? Looks fine. Okay, I'm glad that it sounds like it's mostly issues on my end, but I will just deal with it. Oh, I'm so glad, Jessica. Yeah, there was someone else who shared in one of my Facebook groups that she just kind of had this epiphany that being caught up on orders doesn't mean she has 0 orders that still need to be mailed, and just shifting that mindset to kind of scheduling out when orders are due to be shipped. She said it's just made such a difference mentally for her. So now she can schedule in time to work on things like Pinterest or other social media for her shop, whereas she was feeling like if she had any open orders in the queue, that those had to be the priority. And so it was just never ending because more orders were coming in, and so she felt like she had to do those. And then she was like, where do I fit in all this other stuff I need to do to grow my shop? The Etsy Wholesale Wendy is what I'm going to share on Monday. I'm going to do just the whole scope on that on Monday. Well, not just on Etsy Wholesale, wholesale in general. So Etsy Wholesale, and then also purchasing materials at wholesale cost. And Jessica's poor daughter just had her appendix out, so she lost some time. But hopefully you had a little margin built in there, Jessica, so that you could come back and not feel completely swamped. But anytime that you do lose some time, you're going to feel that pinch when you come back. Do I use a particular platform to market my shop? I do not focus on a particular one. I do get most of my traffic as far as platforms. I get most of it from Pinterest. And I'm actually, I just signed up for Brilliant Business Mom Beth Ann Schwamberger's course on Pinterest because I really want to focus on Pinterest in March. And I've had just my Time for Everything Pinterest account, and I am going to create a separate MakerySpace Pinterest account. Hi, Sarah. So I'm going to be starting from scratch with that account, and I've been on Pinterest since you had to get an invite from somebody. So I've been on it since almost the beginning. So I have never been very strategic with it because since I was such an early adopter, I got a lot of followers in the beginning, and I've just kind of wung it, honestly. That's not even a word, is it? But I winged it for a lot of years. And I want to be more intentional with my existing account, and then I want to start out really well with my new account so that it doesn't take me a really long time to build that one up. So I'm really excited to jump in. I'm going to try to make Pinterest my focus this month as far as social media. But I do have Instagram and Facebook, and of course Facebook just fluctuates so much unless you're paying for ads, which is something else I'll be learning because that was a bonus with this Pinterest course. But Pinterest is really what gets me the most traffic because I do have a lot of things from my shop that are pinned on Pinterest, even by other people. And Pinterest, a lot of people have this perception that Pinterest is all about do it yourself. I'm freezing a lot. I'm sorry. And that people are like, oh, I don't want to pin my products on Pinterest because people will just come copy me. But really, the studies show that Pinterest is frequented by shoppers. People are going there looking to buy. And the majority of the biggest Pinterest accounts are actually brands. And so it's not just about do it yourself. It really is a place that people go to shop. And if you are like on Shopify, you can actually have buyable pins as well, where people can complete the transaction right on Pinterest without even having to go to your shop. So Pinterest is definitely a place to market to people who are shopping. Don't believe that it's only for people who are looking to do something themselves and that they're just going to copy your product and make it and never come purchase. And you got to realize, too, that there are a lot of people on Pinterest who wouldn't do it themselves because they don't know how to do whatever your craft happens to be, whether it's sewing or paper crafting or making soaps or body products or whatever. So Pinterest is definitely somewhere, I think, when you're a product-based business, that you should be focusing some attention. People copy. Oh, yeah. I have seen people... I've heard a lot of stories about Instagram where people will take photos and repost them on their own accounts, but not give credit or try to get people to purchase it from them, and then they'll make a similar thing. If they pin, yeah, that's the thing. If someone repins your product from your shop, even if it's to a board of want to make this someday or whatever, if someone clicks on it, it's still going to go right to that product in your shop. So it's not going to change where it leads to. And Etsy pins are rich pins, which means that they show the price and they show the stock status as well. And if you happen to decrease your price, like let's say you're doing a special for a while, if the price decreases by more than 10%, anybody who has pinned that actually gets an email telling them that the price went down. So I don't normally encourage doing a lot of sales because of the fact that it can create a perception of the value of your product being less. But there may be some cases where it can be beneficial to you if you know that 10% or more discount is going to generate those emails to people who have pinned your product. Any other questions? Oh, and Twitter? I hardly use Twitter at all. I'm just starting to kind of get it, but I mostly use it just to communicate with other people on a more impersonal level. I mean, a more personal level than business level. So Twitter's not something that, and that's okay. I don't think that you have to master every platform. I really like how Crystal from Money Saving Mom focuses on one platform at a time and just really pours herself into learning that platform and doing well on it. I am so... that NP combination in my INTP personality makes me a lot more spontaneous, and I chase a lot of squirrels, and I see a lot of shiny things. I'm like, oh, I gotta go try that. I gotta go try that. And so I have not been good about disciplining myself to just master a platform. So that's why I'm really trying this month to focus on Pinterest and really try to get more strategic with that. And then we'll see what I do after that. But I also have some other things that I'm working on. If you get my email, you probably read that I am going to be speaking at Christy Wright's Business Boutique events in May in Phoenix and Dallas, which I'm really excited about. Christy Wright works for Dave Ramsey. She's one of his personalities. And she has started this business boutique for women that is just amazing because it totally focuses, totally focuses on women who are wanting to build like a side business or a smaller business, not who necessarily want to have this huge platform with, six-figure income. They're not necessarily driving for that, but they want to supplement their family's income. They want to start getting back to doing what they love and making money from it. And so it's this whole focus in this direction of women, just like most of you who are on here right now and me, who may grow to have a really, really big business, but right now a lot of us have kids at home, or we will have kids at home within the next few years, and we're wanting to do something that accommodates our family life. And so that's what the focus of the business boutique is. And like 30% of the women who went to the Nashville one in fall came without even knowing exactly what they wanted to do. So it's a really neat opportunity for women to come and start getting inspired, to actually take some steps forward and get moving and get some ideas. And where was I going with this? Oh, because I'm doing that in May, there's some things that I want to be doing on before that. There's a course or two that I want to develop so that it's available when May comes. And so that's what I'm trying to focus on. So my shop, I've put mostly ready to ship stuff in my shop this month, which, yeah, squirrel. I chased a squirrel. That was a little scary, honestly, because my income is going to be way down from my shop this month. And it's something my husband and I talked about and agreed on so that I can focus on other things. But it's scary. It's scary when you look at your traffic and it's down because you don't have your custom items in there. And, my custom items were the things that usually sold the most. And so they were highest in search. And so I'm just having to go, okay, this is really exactly what I'm supposed to do right now. I need to not worry about this. It's going to free me up to do some other things. So that is something I'm focusing on in March and April. Okay, anyone else have a question? Nope. Okay, so Monday I will be talking about some wholesale stuff. Email marketing resource and advice. Okay, just a second, Danielle. I'll be talking about wholesale stuff. So custom orders, what are you wanting to know about custom orders, Wendy? Email stuff with our small shops. Now, Danielle, are you meaning like some strategies for growing our list? Because you are a great resource for that. If you guys want to know about some strategies for using Facebook ads to grow your list, you can go to brilliantbusinessmoms.com and look for Danielle's episode. I don't remember what it's titled, but that is a really great episode on some ways she grew her list that way. Oh, Wendy, I missed that. I am going to work. Okay, the main course I want to develop is list growth and converting them to sales. Okay, I'll get back to that. The main thing that I want to do for a course is I want to do a course on my workflow, that the system I have developed and how it can translate to other sellers as far as from the time an order comes into my shop until the time that it ships. Because when my shop really started growing, I was buried. I felt like I was drowning. Everything was just spread all over my studio, and I didn't have a rhyme or a reason to how I was doing things. And I developed this whole system so I know exactly where every part in my process of making, from the time the order comes in till it goes out, I know where it is, I can locate it, and I have an entire system for tracking it and making sure things are being made and shipped on time. So I really want to do a course for that, because I know I see a lot of sellers expressing frustration because they feel that they're really scattered in their system, and that's something I love to do, is develop systems. So that's going to be one of the courses for sure. And actually the other thing I'm working on is going to be more of a product for Etsy sellers than a course. Yeah, drowning. And I hate that feeling. And sometimes it would make me close my shop for a couple days to catch up, and my husband would be like, honey, you gotta get to a place where you don't have to close to catch up, because then you're missing out on orders. But I just mentally felt like I have to know nothing more is coming in right now in order to feel sane. And I got to where I developed a system to where I never needed to close, because I felt sane all the time. Even when I did my first giveaway on Money Saving Mom, I had this monstrous amount of orders over the course of 2 days. And I was able to complete them on time because I had this system in place. And even though it was like those orders in those 2 days were more like about what I would have gotten in 2 weeks or more. So it was a huge influx, and I was able to keep on top of it because I had a system for that. So the email part for converting, hi Jessica, converting your email list to shoppers. Danielle, that is another area that I'm going to try to focus on with my email list, because I feel like I haven't used my email list well for my actual shop. It's kind of been more tied to my blog, which I had my blog for a few years before I ever started to shop. And so it's been this kind of weird, yeah, it can be really stressful, Sarah, when it's all handmade and it's just you doing the making. It was kind of this weird thing where I had this list, and I'm like, well, I don't want to assume this whole list is potential customers, because a lot of people signed up for my list because they were following my blog and the kinds of things I was blogging about before I was making. And so I've actually kind of taken a little step back from that list, and I'm going to be figuring out how do I really want to proceed with it. And once I decide how to proceed, I know that I'm probably going to lose some subscribers, but that's okay, because once I decide how I want to focus that list and make it a little bit more strategic for converting to sales, then the people that I lose are the people that I'm going to be targeting anyway. So that's something that I'm still kind of working through. But one thing I do is when I have a special, which isn't very often, but like my Christmas in July special, for example, that's my greatest % off that I ever give during the year. It's 25% off their entire purchase. I always give something extra to my subscribers. So I may tell about that Christmas in July sale on Instagram and on Facebook, but my subscribers are going to get an email. Yeah. Yeah, if you're paying for your list, you want those people that don't want to follow you to go. My subscribers are going to get an email, and they're going to get something on top of that. So they're going to get like free shipping, for example. So they can use the coupon for the sale, and then I'm going to refund their shipping, because I always want my subscribers to get a little bit sweeter deal than the general public that follows me on social media. So that is one way that I use my list for conversions. And I found that when I do have those kind of sales, I do get quite a few people from my list who purchase. I make things for the cash envelope system of budgeting. So a lot of my subscribers are really watching their budgets. A lot of them are trying to get out of debt. And so some of them will wait for one of those sales to purchase maybe something more for themselves, or purchase a gift for someone else, or maybe they've been following and have never purchased, and they won't do it until they're going to save a little bit more. So that usually does convert pretty well, but I don't want to be only contacting them when I have one of my big sales. I want to be engaging with them more. So that's something that I'm thinking through with my list right now. Okay, and then Wendy, did you want to repost your question? It was something about custom orders and detail, how much detail, but I didn't catch that whole thing because I was talking. So I don't know if you're still in here. If you are out and you watch the replay, just go ahead and email me that question or submit it at MakerySpace.com, and I will make sure that I cover it in a scope. Okay, here you go. How much do I leave up to them, and how much do I decide on a custom order? Okay, so in the beginning of my shop, I took a lot more custom requests for things that were completely different than what I was already making, because I had more margin of time to do that. Now, I do not have that custom request button enabled in my shop, because I don't always have the margin to design something new. Now, there are times that someone will send me a convo or that idea of something they'd like me to try or to see if I can do. And if I can think to myself, this is a product that I think I might like to add to my shop if I were to make it for this person, kind of as the prototype. And so I might go ahead and I might make that product for that person and then list it as a new item in my shop. But if it's a custom order that's something that's completely different from what I make, and I don't foresee myself selling more of those, then I'm most likely going to not follow through with that or not go ahead and pursue that custom order, because I have to look at how much time it takes to design a new item and then make it, and I wouldn't be able to charge enough to cover all that time and the materials for just one customer. But if it's something I list in my shop, then the whole design end of it is totally worth my time and just part of product development. And so I can just charge what a normal price would be to that customer and then list it as an item in my shop. So I don't really have custom items in my shop as far as that. Are they okay with... Oh, well, usually it's not something that's so customized that it's personal. Like, let's say, here's an example. I sell these little zippered keychain pouches that can hold change or a lip balm or essential oils or whatever. And someone had asked me recently if it would help or if it would hold 2 roller bottles. And the one I had designed right then was just, it could only hold like the regular bottle, not the roller bottles. So I'm like, you know what? I bet there are other people who would want one that would hold the roller bottles, because people like to take those with them. So I went ahead and made a prototype recently that holds 2 roller bottles. So it's not like it's something that was so customized for them that they'd feel like, oh, why would you sell it to somebody else? It's just like, oh, this would be a great new product to add as an option. So that's the kind of thing that I'm willing to customize. And yeah, your customers are a great resource for adding items to your shop, because we think about what we would use and what we want, and I love to entertain those ideas, because if it fits with the general theme of my shop and is not this completely random product, then it can often be a great addition. And some of my best ideas have come from just listening to customers and producing something that they have requested or need. And then as far as the custom orders, as far as attracting people to those, so my main custom orders right now are just basically your choice of fabric and zipper. So that's the extent of my customization. Or maybe like on my keychain pouches, they can choose split ring or swivel hook. So my customizations are very limited with my products, but for my non-ready to ship products, it's mostly that they get to choose the fabric and the zipper that they want. And those are actually the ones that sell the best or at the top of search the most, because they're the ones that are purchased repeatedly. Whereas I'll put a bunch of ready to ship of my basic wallet in the shop, and those will sell, but because I might have like 20 of those in there, then each one of those is not selling as often as my custom choice of fabric item. So I always recommend, if you have ready to ship items but you're willing to make those in other fabrics or papers or whatever it is, then create a listing for that as well, so that when something is not already made, someone can choose it, and then you just have a longer turnaround time on it. And then that item will likely be purchased more and more and more, and it will help it, the fact that it's being purchased more will help to boost it in search. So if that's something that you can work in, that can be really advantageous for you. Hi, Angela. Okay, any other questions? Yeah. Yeah, that's what I do, Sarah. You're welcome, Wendy. I hope I answered your question. If I didn't, then please ask for clarification. You're in Seattle, just over the mountains. Is it sunny there? It's beautiful here today. Beautiful, beautiful. I needed this sunshine. Okay. If there are no other questions, then on Monday we'll talk a little bit about wholesale, and well, that's always good and rare. Yeah, you can. That's what I do, Jessica. Is they purchase the choice of fabric listing, and then they leave a note to the seller, and I make sure I have in my variations. Do I have it on that one? On some of my accessories, like my coin pouches, my card holders, yes, my replays are at catch.me /MakerySpace. My card holders and coin purses, I have in variations for the fabric choice, exact same as wallet, anything matching, or we'll specify in note. So that way, if they buy a wallet in a certain fabric and then they buy a coin pouch, they can tell me I want it exactly the same. Or it can be anything that coordinates. They just let me decide, they want to be surprised. Or they want a specific fabric, and they will specify that in the note. So that way, they're having to choose from the drop down and then make, if you make, that's such a great thing. Let me finish my sentence, Jessica. I'll get back to that. So they have to choose from the drop down, and then that kind of prompts them and triggers, oh yeah, I'm supposed to leave a note. And sometimes they forget, but they usually don't on those. So like Jessica said, she used to put a custom item in her shop every time someone wanted a certain paper or whatever for an item. But when you do that, then you are not gaining any traction with that listing and helping to boost it in search. This is just a one-off listing, okay? If you have a listing that anybody can purchase and specify what they want in the note, then that listing is being viewed over and over, it's probably being favorited over and over, and it's being purchased over and over. So you are creating that listing value score, you're helping to boost it by doing that instead of just doing custom orders all separate. Now, I know not everyone can do it exactly that way, because if you have a highly customized shop, you might need to create separate custom listings. But if you can have that general custom listing where then they make some choices from it, that is definitely an advantage. Okay, so wholesaling on Monday, and then I'm also going to be talking next week about image sizes, because Katie emailed me that question today, and so we'll be talking about ideal image sizes and also the way they appear in different places, whether you're in a browser or in an app. Create a custom listing for your different choices. I think that if it's something that you have the ability to customize, and you want to customize, Mandy, and you don't always have it as ready to ship in your shop, like let's say you have your most popular items that you're always having them made up ahead of time, and you have them as ready to ship. And let's say there's some other options you have that maybe don't get ordered as often. You could create a custom listing for that. Or you could even, what I do is I'm always making up my basic Divide It wallet in the different fabrics I have, but sometimes someone might purchase it, and so I don't have necessarily a scheduled rotation, so that wallet may not be available as ready to ship until 2 weeks later. So that custom listing allows someone to always be able to look at my fabric gallery and go, oh, I want that pink floral one, and so they can always request it even though one's not made up, and it just has that longer turnaround time. So you might do it that way, where you have some things ready to ship in your shop, but you have the ability to make those in things that aren't ready to ship, in other materials that aren't ready to ship right then, and so people can always order that custom listing. So instead of a turnaround time being maybe 2 days, it might be a week or 2 weeks, whatever it is that you need, so that they can request it in that certain other material or that certain other color that's not available in your shop right then. So for each of my wallet styles, I have a custom choice of fabric and zipper listing. And really my only wallet style that I make up as ready to ship is my most basic wallet style, because it's a lot faster to make those, and I can keep those on hand. But my other, a little bit more time-consuming wallet styles, I don't have the time to make up a whole bunch in different fabrics. And because I have a large fabric selection, because I love to offer that to people, there's just no way I can make up like 50 each of my other wallet styles. Not sure if people are going to buy those, and then always be keeping on top of having ready-to-ship stock on those. So that's how I do it. And then I never make up my accessories ahead of time, because people often purchase the accessories to match the wallet that they're purchasing. So they just get the choice of fabric for those as well. It really depends on your shop, how many customized listings you would have versus how many ready to ship. But I think if you have a combination, that can really help you. There are people, Jessica, that don't want to wait. They're just not patient enough, or maybe they have an event coming up soon. So I think if you could have some of your more popular items as ready to ship and available, just a second, Mandy, I'll get back to that. Then I think that could be good for people who might visit your shop and go, oh, I don't want to wait a few days before it ships. I want it to ship, within a day or two. So you might experiment with that to see if you can keep up with it, and to see if that maybe increases your sales a little bit if you have those that are just going to be a little bit more on demand. Mandy, I think that, yes, I think that if you have the ability to create listings where people can choose customizations right from the listing, then it's definitely more advantageous when it comes to your Etsy relevancy, because of the fact that those listings are going to be purchased over and over, viewed and favorited over and over, rather than just being a one-time custom listing that they request from that button. So if that is, if your extent of custom listings is mostly choices that they could make, that's another great question, Jessica, I'll tell you that. It was just mostly choices that they can make that are just going to alter the color, the design or something, rather than it being a brand new design, then there's really no reason to have that request custom listing button be the method by which you create those listings. Okay, I'll get to that too. Okay, so Jessica, I charge a little bit less for my ready to ship items. That's the way I always like to phrase it, because every once in a while I'll get the question and go, why is it more for my choice of fabric? It's not more. My choice of, all my wallets have a choice of fabric listing. My Divide It wallets are the only thing, yeah, that's another great idea, Danielle. My Divide It wallets are the only things I list as ready to ship. So I just make those a couple dollars less, because of the fact that they don't get to choose what fabric they want. They're basically just kind of like buying it off the shelf. So they get a little bit of a break for buying it off the shelf, is how I look at it. Oh shoot, Paper Bliss, you asked a really good question, and I'm trying to remember what it was. Can you remind me what it was? There was a whole bunch of comments coming in at once, and I could not keep track. I need to keep a little notepad in front of me to just jot myself a couple words. Anybody remember what that question was? Okay, well, if you think of it, you can maybe tweet it at me or email me, and I will make sure I cover it. It was a really good one, and it had to do with, oh yes, fabric choices. Thank you. I do believe that it has drawn more customers. And it's funny, because I'll still get, every once in a while, I'll have someone go, do you have any other fabric choices than what's shown in your fabric gallery? I looked at the fabric gallery and there's nothing that I like, you know, and I remember one time there was like over 70 choices that I had. I thought, okay, well, I'm pretty sure I just can't help in this case, because I think it's just more of a matter of being incredibly particular, because I had quite a variety of different colors and prints and geometrics and florals and everything. So I do think it's helped, and that it's brought in more customers because they have a variety of choices, and it also has, I think, helped me, because I know that I would get so bored if I were to like buy 5 different fabric choices at wholesale. It would save me money, but I would be so bored using the same 5 fabrics over and over. And that's not true of everyone. Some people are just totally fine with that. And that's great, but I just know my personality, it would take a lot of the motivation out for me to not have a large number of fabric choices. And I actually have fewer now than I typically have in the past. I probably have about, I don't know, 45, 50 right now. But there have been times I've had over 70 fabric choices at any given time for wallets. But that's just me. That's just the way that I like to operate, and I think it has helped in some cases, because people can, you know, have more of an opportunity to choose something that suits them. And it's something that's going to last them a while, and so I want it to be something that they really want to pull out and really enjoy. Okay, well, I should probably get going. My son's got a speech meet today, so we need to start getting ready for that pretty soon. But it was fun to chat with you. Thanks for bringing questions, and thanks for the hearts. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I hope to see you back here on Monday. Oh, and on Monday, it'll be a little earlier. I co-host a blab at 11 o'clock, so if you ever want to see those, it's always about Etsy, selling on Etsy and different aspects of it. We're having one of the founders of the Craftcation event that happens in California on this Monday. So if you follow me on blab.im/MakerySpace, then you will get a notification when that blab goes live. But it's at 11 o'clock Pacific time. So I'll probably be scoping around 10:15 on Monday. Okay? Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you later.